All right, we're back. What did we do last time? We were crashing stuff, crashing applications. Which is always fun. Brings a smile to my face. Paste this back in. We will not crash this instance of Notepad. So we are done. We are through crashing things. We already talked on how this is not a formal lecture series. It's interesting, pretty meta. While we're doing this, or while I'm BSing, we go here. We're gonna click here. We named that last video "Good Times 2." We'll start uploading stuff. We'll go back to Wikipedia. Not a full lecture series. So I thought we're going to close this because we don't need it for the Python goofiness. We don't need anything more open than absolutely has to be open. Not a formal lecture series. If you haven't figured that out by now, then you should probably go attend a formal lecture series so that you can see that there's a noticeable difference between the two. Um, you know, maybe people want to know certain things, and then I'll sit down and I'll write up a formal plan for certain topics. And will I ever do a formal lecture series? No. Why? Because I'm not that smart. Um, I don't have a PhD or a master's or anything like that, and I have no business doing formal lectures because I have no business lecturing anybody about anything. Uh, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. This is not a formal lecture series, and again, if you haven't figured that out by now, then you should definitely. Well, I'm not gonna say that, but you should have figured that out by now. We're gonna reverse. No, I won't save it. We're gonna reverse these two a little bit because we can cover this one fairly simply. And then the Python goofiness, we may even give that its own video, just because what do we mean by Python goofiness? Well, we'll do some interesting things. What I'm thinking right now in my head is that we'll just show some basic things that we could do with Python, sort of drive home the point that you can manipulate anything you want about your computer with Python. And the first thing we're going to do is that the first time I figured out how to do this, and I will say exactly what this is as soon as I'm done saying this. Yeah, take a second to think about that. What I just said. The first time I figured out how to chew up all the RAM on my computer, I was pretty proud of myself. I thought, yep, I got a pretty powerful computer. It's got shitloads of RAM, 16 gigs is on the machine that we're using right now. And I wrote a 3-line program that pretty much ate up all the resources of my computer. And if we're not careful, pretty much your computer will your computer crash? No, but well, I mean, define crash. It may or may not crash depending on how you define that, but it will slow to an immediate halt. Immediate, okay, too harsh of a term, but you will basically just put the brakes on your computer and it will be unable to deal with anything except what we're going to do. So that's the first thing, or maybe that'll be the only thing we're going to do, but it's something that we're going to do. It's, and when I first figured out how to do it, um, I was pretty proud of myself, and it's a good demonstration for showing that Python is something that we can demonstrate any concept in. And again, we'll write a couple lines of code. We'll sort of explain what we're doing in a very general way, and then we will watch the computer come to a crashing halt. I don't know how the screencast and Cam Studio is gonna deal with that script. I imagine it's gonna be a little ridiculous, and the video results may not be the best, but it'll be fun. We're gonna do it. It'll be goofiness, and then once we're done the Python goofiness, we'll jump back in and sort of go back to talking about Cheat Engine relative to Shadowrun, and we'll start doing some other things. Probably getting more into like pointers and things like that. All right, so Steam plus Cheat Engine. Obviously, you can see every time I've started this game, and just holding the mouse here, Steam's got some access protocol it's using. We know I'm running Steam. A problem that some people have is every time they try to attach Cheat Engine to a Steam game, it all crashes. Let's go over that with a little. Let's go over that a little bit. Why is the application crashing when we attach Cheat Engine to it? Well, because when you attach Cheat Engine to a process and you start doing random things, looking for values, poking around, stuff like that, it okay. So when you're looking for values and things like that, it may not crash. You may actually be able to attach it to Steam and do some basic things like poking around for values and stuff like that. But if you want to do some more advanced things, which we'll show, because we're kind of starting to get into that, where we're gonna get into pointers, and then after we're done talking about pointers, pointers are pretty much the bridge to doing more advanced things like assembler script and stuff like that. And once we get into assembler script, we're gonna start using some of these more advanced features. So even though this is not an official step in the series, we're gonna basically show off some features of Cheat Engine here that, and what do we mean when we say advanced features? Well, we're gonna show you that exactly right now. And are we going to delve into this in great detail about, what are these features and how do we use them and what does it all mean? No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to show that it is possible to do these things that we're talking about, and that we're not just making stuff up. So, launch the game. So we crashed this process before. We're going to go up to we're in Cheat Engine, go to Edit, go to Settings, go to Debugger Options. There's a whole lot of Ivory Tower stuff, unless you are familiar with debuggers and breakpoints and stuff like that. You're not going to understand a whole lot of these options. Frankly, I don't understand a whole lot of these options. Do I understand some? Yep. And we're going to talk about the ones I understand, or one of the ones I understand right now. By default, when you install Cheat Engine, it comes out of the box. It's going to have the Windows debugger right here. What is a Windows debugger? It is just sort of a built-in debugger, and we'll elaborate in just a second on what a debugger is. So this is how Cheat Engine comes set up out of the box, or right after you install it by default, or at least this version of Cheat Engine 6.3. When I installed it on this copy of Windows, that's how it was set up. If you want to know about debugging and stuff like that in general, as we've been talking, you go to Wikipedia, type in debugger. Here's this huge article, very technical stuff, but you could read that if you wanted to. Again, just to sort of show it off here, edit settings, debugger settings. We have set this to the Windows debugger. This last one, the DBVM kernel mode stuff, that's unless you go out of your way, that's is it there? Sure, but generally it's not something you want to use, and you can go on the forums and whatnot and read about why. We're not gonna deal with that. So we have this game. Excuse me. We have this game. We attach Cheat Engine to it. Let's just go to continue. Did I want to do that? Nah, I really didn't want to do that. We just want to get a value that we can control in discrete jumps. So we're going to do that as soon as we get back into the game here. PDA, go back. Yep. And go to new game. Going to do the karma thing like we've been doing the whole series, because it's just really simple, really easy, and at this point, we all understand it. Yep. All right. Search for 34. It's awesome. Change the value. 31. Next. Done. 2. We already found the values. 2 steps. 27. You can already see it is, but we're going to click next scan. Found the 2 values. Let's change them to something crazy. Is 555 crazy? I don't know, but there you go, 550. We've done it. So we changed the debug settings. Does it even matter? Not yet, because simple things like this don't require a debugger. You can still get away with doing basic things like this. But as soon as you try to do something like more advanced, which we're going to do right now, say we're building an assembler script, or we wanted to overwrite some routines in memory so that anytime we click this button, whether we're adding or subtracting points, this value never changes. We're just going to basically go in. We're going to find the points in memory that have the routines in them that say, that are run whenever we hit an event on this menu. We talked a little bit about events. So we hit the plus sign. There's an event. The game reacts. There's some code that tells the game how to react when the plus sign is clicked. We click the plus sign. It runs that code. That code executes, and now there's a change reflected up here. We hit the minus sign. There's another. There's the same routine because it's agnostic as far as positive and negative numbers, and that code runs, and again this value changes. So let's say we wanted to go into memory. We wanted to find the routine that's sitting in memory that is changing this value. The logic, if you will. Let's bring this up. Make sure we're not bumping up against it. There we go a little bit. So the way we would start going about that is we would find the values first. We know we have them because we changed them. It was reflected. We've proven that. So let's go. We would right click on this and we go find out what writes to this address. What does this actually mean under the hood? It's kind of complicated, but the point is that when we click that option, Cheat Engine is saying, "Are you sure you want to do this? I'm attaching the debugger. And there's a whole bunch of implicit disclaimer stuff that goes along with this. And basically, that disclaimer in a nutshell is debugging is a complex topic. Attaching a debugger to a process is inherently dangerous, and you may either crash Cheat Engine, you may crash your game, you might crash some other process if things go really 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 bad. But are you sure you want to do this? By clicking yes, you're agreeing to all that and more. And again, you can read the Wikipedia page if you want to about it. It does. Is it going to talk specifically about Cheat Engine and debugging? No, but it'll give you an idea what debugging is, how it works, and things like that. And it will, if you read this whole article and you come away and maybe some of the links, you go to the GNU debugger, WinDebug. That's probably the Windows debugger. I have no idea if it is or it isn't. It's a multi-purpose debugger for Windows, distributed on the web by Microsoft. Whatever. Anyway, we're gonna click yes. See what happens. It brings up this window. So now, if we go back in here and we click this. Let's go back in here. If we go back in the game and we click this button, it's going to fire off the same event that it has. It's going to execute the same routine of code that's sitting in memory, and Cheat Engine is going to be able to sort of trap that, extract some information from that, and it'll display that here in a pretty nice way. So why is there nothing in this window right now? Well, there's nothing in this window right now because there's no events. It's just internal state running, and it's not responding to any events at all. So how we get stuff in this window? Well, we have to create events. How do we create events? Well, we already know how. We just come in and click this. So just one more time for the peanut gallery. No events or no information here because no events have been processed in the game. So we're going to go in here, we're going to click this button. That's going to force the game to process an event that we're interested in, and Cheat Engine will populate this window. So let's do that. Click the button. Application freezes and immediately crashes. What's that about? Well, it's kind of complicated, but we're proving the point that a lot of people, download Cheat Engine, read a tutorial, and they're like, yep, I'm going to start looking around for routines in memory and things like that, and, they do exactly what we just did. Probably much faster, and with less crap coming out of my mouth. So they basically go through that process, and they're like, shit, Cheat Engine sucks. I'm gonna go use something else, or I'm gonna go download a trainer or something, and that's basically it. So we're gonna stop it here, but then we're gonna come back. We're gonna show how to get rid of this problem, and it's as it turns out, it's real simple. I'll no doubt talk about this really simple thing for about I'm going to guess 15 minutes, but whatever, we'll deal with that.